What's up, you beautiful people? Today I'm going to kind of go over with you guys how I fit my food into the macros that I have for each week. So I feel like this is generally like a question I get that people are making it harder than it really needs to be. And so I was going to do like a whole screen share and show you guys how I add each individual thing, but honestly, that just gets really confusing. So I'm going to try to break it down in an easier way for you guys, so that if you're having a hard time figuring out what am I supposed to eat, how am I supposed to fit it all in, that hopefully this will be pretty easy for you guys. So first things first, I'm going to share my macros with you guys today. Please do not use those macros for yourself. Please realize that those macros are made for my body. I've adjusted time upon time upon time over months and months of trying to figure out what's going to work well for me. There are times where I eat more than this. There are times where I eat less than this. But right now in this period of my life, this is what's going to work well for me, not specifically for you. So that's thing number one. And then the other thing is to just keep it simple. Don't try and make things super confusing and make it really hard on yourself. This is supposed to be goal-oriented, but it doesn't have to be hard. And I feel like a lot of people just try and make it a little bit more difficult than they need to. So first things first, know your macros. Put those macros in your macro calculator so that when you are adding in all your food, you can kind of see where the food that you put in equals to the actual macros that you need to be hitting. Secondly, add in the food that you want. Add in the food that you actually want to eat. I feel like a lot of people try and put foods in their nutrition plan because they think that they're supposed to eat it, but realistically, if you don't enjoy that food, you're not going to want to eat it later on in the week when it's already prepped, and you're going to throw it away and it's going to be a waste, and we don't want that. So eat whatever the heck you want. This week, I'm going to be making myself it's like a Greek style dish, and it's just like pretty much like a salad, a mixture of things that I put in there, and that's because I like it, not because it was the most nutrient dense thing I could possibly ever find in my life, but because that is what I wanted this week. Another thing is find your key things. Find the key things that you enjoy to eat, or if there's a reason you like to eat it. My key things are heavy cream in my coffee. I will always have that. I always have collagen every week, and then I mix that into a probiotic yogurt. So those are like my key things. I generally will then eat eggs and chicken, and kind of figure out what I want off of those things. So those are going to be the first things that I add to my macro calculator. Then I figure out, okay, well, what meal do I want? So I start adding all the things that are in that meal. For example, this dish that I'm making has chicken, feta cheese, pepperoncinis, Kalamata olives, spinach, things like that. And then I can add or take away other things in that dish. So I'm going to add all of that stuff to my macro calculator on that same page. I'm not going to worry about the size of or the serving size of each thing just yet. I'm just going to move them onto the page because I know I want to eat those things. Then, once all the food that you're going to eat for the day is on there, check to see where you're at with your macros. If your protein's super under, then increase like the chicken. If you're under on fat, then add a tablespoon of oil, or whatever it is you need to do to figure it out. So for example, like when I first did my macro calculator, or when I first did my macros for this meal, I had 13 grams of chicken. And then I was like, I really want a hard-boiled egg in there. So I added the hard-boiled egg. But in order for me to hit my protein, I needed to remove 1 ounce of chicken. So I removed that 1 ounce of chicken. So it's kind of just a matching game on the protein and the fat. And the wonderful thing about macro calculators is underneath of the food, it actually tells you the breakdown of each food for each gram. So you can kind of remove it per gram, per ounce, per whatever it is, and you can kind of adjust those things. So for myself, this week I'm trying to hit 150 grams of protein, 164 grams of fat, or 165 grams of fat, sorry, and then under 20 grams of carbs. And as you guys can see, I am hitting those. It's almost exact. It's within 1 gram. And then the carbs, I just don't want to go over 20, so it could be as low as I want it to be. But another thing is that I find very easy for myself, and if you guys look at my tracker, you will notice that it's separated into different meals. Now, I eat all my meals within like a 4-hour time period, but so all the meals are kind of actually like rolled into one. However, when I break it down into my macro tracker, I break it down into what's gonna go together. So for example, I do my coffee and my chai tea or my matcha tea in the morning. Then I do the lunch meal is an example of what my the Greek meal is gonna be. That's all that's in that dish. Then you move to the dinner, which is not really a dinner. I'm going to eat it all at the same time. But that's my yogurt meal. So that's my yogurt mixed with my collagen and my keto brick, and I'm going to have all that together. And then the next thing down is, those are the things that I'm using to fill my macros. So I couldn't fit it all into that Greek meal. And I didn't really want to add more volume to that, so I decided to add something completely different, and I'm going to do a egg salad with a side of bacon. So I have those 2 eggs, the mayo, and then the bacon on the side, and I'm going to put some mustard in there as well. And that's going to help me to like top my macros. I need a little bit more protein and a little bit more fat, so it was like the perfect mixture. So I broke it down into meals, but realistically they're all going to be eaten within a 4-hour time period. I'm actually going to go ahead and break all of those down. This is one of the most important parts I find, is that I want to make sure when I go to the grocery store, it's all broken down so that I have enough of everything and not a ton of everything. So I'm actually going to break down, for example, the feta cheese. I'm going to go have 2 ounces of that feta cheese every single day, but I'm going to have it, I'm only going to prep for 6 days. So 2 ounces times 6 is going to be 12 ounces of cheese. So I want to make sure that when I pick up that feta cheese, I'm getting 12 ounces, not more, not less, if available, because I want to make sure that I'm not wasting any food. I'm very big on not wasting. So I want to make sure I'm not wasting any food and getting way too much that nobody's going to eat. And I want to make sure that I'm not getting too little, because that's going to completely mess up my meal prep, and that's what's going to throw you off for the whole week, and we really, really don't want that. So I'm going to break all of these down. We're going to go to the grocery store, and I'm going to show you guys how I broke it down, how I purchased it in those bulk sizes, and if I went over or under or whatever it is. And then you guys can kind of see like, oh, that's how she breaks down even the pricing for that week. So I'm gonna bring you guys along, but let's go to Whole Foods. Okay guys, I'm doing the best I can with the lighting in here, but I'm at Whole Foods. I was gonna take the camera in, but I decided that with all the virus stuff going on, the last thing I need to do is take another handheld item into the store and be touching stuff and then touching the camera. So I'm just gonna run in, and then when I get done, I will show you guys what I got and how much I spent for this week. There are a couple things that I do already have at the house that I actually order online, so I will not be getting that here. But you guys will kind of get the gist of how I broke everything down as far as like how much of each thing that I got. And I actually have it written down right here in my little notebook. So I broke it down by like tablespoon or ounce or can or whatever. So I'm getting 4.5 pounds of chicken, 12 ounces of feta cheese, 18 eggs, and like usually the large eggs, which is what I have in my macros, are broken down by 12. So I will get extra eggs this time, and then I'll just have to eat them later on in the week. But that's not something that'll go bad by the end of the week. 6 ounces of spinach. I'm getting a bunch of yogurt, and I broke that down into containers. The pepperoncinis, the Kalamata olives, those are broken down by the can, depending on how much is in each can. I do have to get a couple extra items, some for Robert and some for Jack, so I won't be able to show you the end price, but I can kind of deduct the things that I'm getting for those two and then tell you my total. So I'm gonna run into Whole Foods and I will show you guys when I get back. Okay guys, back at my car, and I spent more than this, so I can't show you guys the receipt because I had to remove a couple of things other things that I was getting, but I do have, I did remove all of those. I subtracted it all, and I spent about $75 on mine for this week. But there is extra things like extra eggs, extra heavy cream. There should be a little bit extra chicken and a little bit extra cheese that I'm not gonna go through this week. But just want to show you guys, I got this giant thing of 4.5 pounds of chicken. I got this thing of spinach. So this is the kind of time where you might need to adjust things. So I needed 6 ounces of spinach, but this is only 5 ounces. I didn't want to get a whole nother thing because honestly, I don't really eat that many greens right now, and I don't need a whole other package just to get 1 ounce. So I'm just gonna break this up to the 6 days that I'm actually gonna eat this. And I'm just gonna be 1 ounce less, which I'm not even upset about because again, I'm not trying to hit a certain amount of carbs, I'm trying to stay under. I did get 2 things of feta cheese, and this is the yogurt that I use. I love this yogurt. I had to get the pepperoncinis and they're there. The Kalamata olives, and there's just a whole bunch of things in here. I'm not going to try and dig through my whole bag, but I do like the fact that I break those things down. I take the paper into the store. I figure out exactly how much I need of everything, and then I try to get as close to that as humanly possible, and then be willing to adjust maybe your macros or look at the back of the label at the store, because again, even though the macros are perfect, the ingredients may not be perfect, so you might have to do a little bit of adjusting, but that's how I do it. I just try to make it super simple and break it down in a way that I'm gonna enjoy the food, that it's gonna be easy enough for me to go into the store, get pretty much whatever brand, because generally speaking, most chickens are the same, most of the feta cheese macros are the same, most of the pepperoncinis are gonna be the same. They're gonna be about the same macros. So I try to make it easy on myself by planning out what I'm gonna eat, but also making sure that it's something that when I go to the store, I can actually get it. This is a time where all the COVID-19 stuff is happening. The grocery stores are running low on a whole bunch of things, but I'm still able to get everything that I need that I would normally eat in a week, just because it's simply the things that are generally on the shelves. So anyways, I hope that this was beneficial for you guys. If anybody needs help like kind of figuring out how to move forward with your macros, or you're still having a hard time planning out your meals, don't be afraid to like reach out to me, and we can definitely talk about how to make it easier on you. But again, just remember my simple points of 1, know your macros, know what you're eating. Thing number 2 is don't make it hard on yourself. Eat things that you actually enjoy. And then 3, just be willing to increase or decrease different things that you have in your diet. So like pick all the things that you want to eat in a day, and then be willing to get rid of some if it's not going to work that week, and then bring things in, a higher amount of those things in. There's a lot of things happening right now, so I feel a little bit distracted. So I'm gonna go, but I really hope this was beneficial for a lot of you, and please let me know if you guys have any questions or something wasn't clear. But for now, I'll see you guys later.